Testing, testing. Okay. Greetings, my name is Michali Leonard Sikakane, and today I'll be going through part 2 of my POE for programming. For this POE, we are required to add functionality that essentially allows the user to send a message, and there were other requirements that have to do with the message being sent that I will go over in this talk. Let's begin. First, we have my inputs. I imported two things, an array list and random. I will get into why I imported these two things right now, just now, John. Here we have my declarations, my instances, my variables, if you'd like to call them that. I have message ID, message hash, recipient cell number, message sent, message number, and message counter. Here I have my two array lists. I have an array list called send message and an array list called hash message. Okay. This is an array list that holds the messages that have been sent, and this is a message and this is an array list that holds hash messages that are generated. These arrays grow dynamically as messages are sent and hashed. Why do I have these two array lists? Well, because even though arrays aren't needed for this part, the parts where show messages that have been stored, that coming soon part, I got carried away and I already did it, so they exist now. And yeah, so these are my getters and my setters. I have a getter and a setter for each and every single one of my instances. So let's just get into it. Let's go into our first method. I know we're pressed for time, so it has to be 10 minutes. Let's get into our first message. First method is check message ID. What is check? Well, requirement was for us to generate a 10 digit long randomized number that is assigned to each and every single message that will be added to our message hash. Okay, how did I do this? Like I said before, I imported random. I made use of random over here. That random is then converted into a string and stored inside message ID. And then this is returned true if message ID is less than or equal to 10 characters. How do I make sure it is always 10 characters? Well, this is the mathematics right here. Basically, essentially what happens is, what we do is we take a random double and is by multiplying a random double by 9 billion and adding 1 billion, we always get 10. What's this? 10 digits. That's the math behind our check message ID. Next, we have check recipient. Basically, whenever somebody wants to send a message, you have to say who that message is going to. That person is called the recipient. So you have to add their phone number, of course. What this method does is just make sure that the method is correct and in the correct format. So there are three ways you can write a message, which I have included here, as there are three ways a cell phone number can be validated. Number one, if you start the message with that phone number with the 0, then there have to be 10 characters. If you start the phone number with 27, there have to be 11 characters. If you start the phone number with plus 27, there have to be 12 characters. In this way, if any of these three are validated, then we get our return message, cell phone successfully captured. If not, then we get our error message that is returned. Cool. So now we have our create message hash. So the structure of create message hash is that number one, it has to be the first two characters within our message ID, a colon, it has to be the number of the message, another colon, and then the first word and the last word in all capital letters. How did I go doing about this? Well, to capture the first word, I created a for loop that goes through every character and then stops. And then it stops at the space. And after it stops at the space, it captures the first word. How did I get the last word? The last word tracks the last space and takes everything after it. Okay, and that's how we capture the last word. And this regular expression here, this just makes sure that in the event that a punctuation is used, or like a special character, question mark, exclamation mark, full stop, in case any of these are used, they are not added when they are extracted to our message hash. This line of code over here, all this line of code is doing is basically just making sure the message hash structure is the way that it is required within the POE. Over here we have message ID. As I stated before, the first two characters within our message ID, a colon, the message number, colon again, first word uppercase, last word uppercase, or capital letter if you want to put it that way. And then we return our message hash. Send message. So within our send message, the first thing we do here is we first check if the message that has been entered is greater than 250 characters, right? If it's greater than 250 characters, we state that, hey man, your message is too long. It exceeds 250 characters, and it exceeds 250 characters by such and such amount. Please reduce the size. Try again and reduce the size. Cool. But if somebody didn't exceed 250 characters, then we generate our message ID, we increment our counter, we create our message hash using the message number and the message that has been sent, and then the user will decide between option 1, 2, and 3, which is send, store, which is coming soon. I've already done store, unfortunately, and 3, which is disregard. So what does number 1 do? Sending, by pressing send, what happens is this adds the message and hash into the array lists that I had shown before. Right over, where are my array lists? Right over here, these two. That's what pressing number 1 does. It adds them into the array list. Storing, which is coming soon, hasn't been created. Disregard. What disregard does is that as the user is asked, how many messages do you want to send? Maybe they said 3. So they'll write a message, they'll send that message. They'll write another message, they'll be asked, do you want to send this message? They'll say no, I want to disregard it. What this does is it removes, it decrements, if that makes sense. Instead of increments, it decrements the counter, and it makes it look like the message was never sent in the first place. So yeah, and then we go into our print message, and what the print message does is just like it iterates through the array list and returns a number, and it returns a numbered list of everything sent so far, or if nothing has been sent so far, it says no message. Okay, total message. All total message does is return the current message counter, and then we have store message. Store message basically it just formats everything in the form of a JSON file. Style string, it formats it in the form of a JSON style string, and then it prints it out. Cool. And then moving on to the chat app. Moving on to the chat app. Within the chat app, of course, in part 1, I believe we ended with the user registering and logging in. So after the user is successfully logged in, we ask them, hey man, how many messages would you like to send? After they've stated the amount of messages they would like to send, maybe that number, they put a number in. That number is then stored in max messages over here. We then create a message object which will then handle the logic for the session. We initialize message so far to 0, and then these two over here are very important because we initialize message so far to 0, and we keep a boolean running set to true, which controls our main loop. The while loop ensures that the menu that the user is looking at keeps displaying. Okay. When the user chooses 1, oh, these are our options again. Send a message, show recently sent messages, and 3, which is quit. Please choose an option. If, okay, the user chooses 1, we check if they have hit their limit right here. Okay, if they have hit their limit, If not, we ask for the recipient's cell phone number. Okay, and after we've asked for the recipient's cell phone number, we ask for the text message. Only if the recipient's cell phone number is valid, we ask for the text message. If all goes well, we increment, and we increment message so far. Where is that? Here, yes. If all goes well, we increment message so far, and then it just keeps going until you have used up your the number of times that you specified you wanted to send your messages. And then option 2, of course I said I did it, but again, unfortunately, it's coming soon, so I won't bother explaining it. Option 3 prints our goodbye message, and then it also tells you how many messages you sent. Yeah, and then in the event that the user doesn't press 1, 2, or 3, then you know the return, it gives you that message that, hey man, please choose 1, 2, or 3. And that's it, and that's how messages and chat app work. I wish I could delve in more, but 10 minutes, as I've stated again. We have over here messages. We have our message tests. Okay, we have our message tests. Our message tests are basically in the testing different scenarios, just making sure that our code runs properly. Over here we have our normal text. So this is basically if the text message is less than 250 and it works successfully. This is what our test checks. And that is successful. Okay, and that is successful. And then we have a message length fail, which basically tests like if somebody puts over 250 characters, you know, what would happen. And basically, my tests follow that theme. It's like, did someone put the correct formatted number? Yes. Did they not put the correct formatted number? Do I get the correct return statements? Is everything okay? Like I said, recipient number, what happens if the number fails? Okay, so over here we have message hash. So here we have test message hash correct. So I create a new object for the messages class. We check if the recipient, what's this? We put in the recipient's cell phone number with the correct format. We call our check message ID class, child method, and then we basically just put all the correct inputs inside to test if test message hash works correctly and gives us what we want. Cool. And I have other tests, but you know, time. Where am I? Don't know. Okay, let's just. I think the perfect way of showing the code working would be to show you what happens when you do the wrong thing. If I say, Jake, hey man, please put the correct one. Cool. I'll say maybe one. That's successful. Password. Hey man, that's wrong. Please put the right one. Okay. 2005. Cool. Cell phone number 2764936061. Okay. Now it's the username. What did I say it was? Yo_1 onto password. Cool. How many messages do I want to send? For the sake of this video, we'll say 3. Select send a message. Please enter recipient's cell phone number. Let's try all 3 of the message types that we said. We said +27, so that's all. 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, that should be okay. It is okay. So please to get my pants. Okay, I would like to send that, and I should get. So the first word is please. The last one is pants. The message ID unique is the first two numbers within the message ID are 64. So we have 64 first, the first message of 3, and we have please and pants. So that's good. So now I want to send another message. Let's put the correct. No, let's put the wrong phone number, and then we will disregard this message, and I will show that the disregard works. So instead of 27, let's put 29. Only 8, 4, 5, 6, 2, 0, 8, 1. So that's wrong. Okay, it tells us our cell phone number is wrong. So let's I'd like to disregard that. Thank you. Okay, so let's put the correct one now. We're going to send a message. We said plus last time. Let's remove the plus. 084 455 2081 2081. That's the correct format. It is. Okay, I did to do this time, and I'd like to send that. Message ID is 79. This is the second number. I and time. I time. All in caps. That's good. And finally, for our last message, we'll just say, I think the last one is an O. 7, 3, 6, 8, 9, 9. And this is the last message we can send. So if I try and send a message after this, I should get a message that tells me, I should get like a notification that tells me that I've run out of messages to send. Okay. This last message, and I'd like to send that. I'd like to send another message now. I've reached my message limit of messages. What do I do? I quit. Goodbye, and I've sent 3 messages today. Thank you very much.